Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Tao of the Day. And if you value Tao of the Day, and if these teachings bring you insight and clarity, or even just a moment of peace in your day, I invite you to support this show. Since the platform this whole thing is being supported by, or was being supported by Noom Vibe. It's no longer anymore. So since they pulled their support, I'm definitely looking at being listener supported. So if you're out there, thank you so much. Thank you to Melissa, and thank you to JK for being a supporter of this show. This brings me back every time. It makes it possible for me to continue offering this sort of work. So thank you so much for all of your support. Okay, before my booch overflows with foam, I'm going to take a couple sips. All right, so here we are. Today is the 11th of March, and for anybody that's overseas, or in Arizona, we're starting early because we have daylight savings. That's going to catch up to you guys, depending on where you are. Arizona doesn't do it. Turkey doesn't do it. And everybody in the Southern Hemisphere does it at a completely different time, if they do it at all. So here we are. But I am here 6 a.m. Central Time, as it is in Chicago. So if you are trying to figure out why I'm early or why things have changed, that may be it. Okay, I'm going to look at, I don't know why, I'm going to look at stillness and integration today. Cici's on. Hey, Cecilia, how you doing?
How about you? Can you hear me?
I'm doing, yeah, a little echoey, but where you at? You in the airport?
No, I'm in the bathroom. It's a private space, so, but airport tomorrow.
Okay, and are you still in England then? Are you coming home?
Yes, and yes.
Oh, wow. All right. Wonderful. And when you get here, where's your home? Is it Florida?
No, I don't really have like an address.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, where are you taking the plane to?
New York. Well,
New
that
York.
was my
Okay.
home for a long time. So that's home even if I don't have an address there. So I'm going to start there and then make my way down to Florida to my mother's condo because that's really kind of the reason I'm coming back because we have some things to do as far as the state and everything goes. But, I feel so, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm so sad that your adventure's over. And I'm like, what do you mean my adventure's over? I'm still alive. My adventure. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and your adventure isn't separate from your life. Your life is the
No,
adventure.
exactly. Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
It's all an adventure. I'm excited to go home. I would be excited to stay here. I'm just excited, Hey,
Yeah, absolutely. Life is easy. Just go with the flow. Do what you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yesterday Lois picked number 13, and that's my favorite number, right? And it's just been popping up everywhere lately, or I'm just noticing it more. But like two tables that I went to, two different restaurants in the past 2 weeks, I got sat at table 13.
Wow.
The hotel room, the number is 113. And even the lipstick that I purchased the other day was number 13.
Wow.
So when Lois picked 13 yesterday, I was like, oh my gosh, thank you for picking that one.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's such a, it's such a nice verse about, because it goes through, there's a lot of words in it. It's a longer one, but it's like this idea of seeing yourself with indifference and the idea that you can care for things when you don't have a preference. Because you don't get distracted by your preference. You don't get distracted by this isn't the way I wanted it to be. And you can just accept things as they are. I feel like our parents would be able to accept us as we are if they didn't have preconceived ideas of what they wanted us to be. You know?
Right.
And there are parents that do not have preconceived ideas. I remember when I was a kid, though, like everyone was just like, oh, 10 fingers and 10 toes. That's all. But I was like, well, and that's still, even though that seems like a broad preference, like just that they're healthy, but they might not be. And it doesn't, like, let's see what it is. Let's see what comes out. Let's see who this is, rather than having ideas of, well, I want them to be healthy, or I want them to be, like, we do want them to be healthy, of course. But if that's a preconceived idea, so many people like decide not to have children because they learn that it's not going to be healthy. It's like, that doesn't necessarily protect you from the work of caring for illness.
Right. And if they have less fingers or less toes, you wouldn't love them less.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
So
yeah,
I'm a fan of 13. What was that?
like you were saying before, let's just go with the flow.
Yeah. Let's see what this does. Let's see what this is.
Yeah. An adventure. But yeah, I would love a random number because I just.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 5. See, this is funny. Number 5 is titled Impartial. Mm-hmm. So same sort of idea about when you are partial to something, when you do have a preference, it can get in the way. Let's see what it says. Nature doesn't care. It knows everything is more than it seems. What a nice connection to that. It's like nature doesn't care. It knows there's more than it seems. The master doesn't care. She knows that as well. It is good to be empty. Thus the master embraces the void. Like a bellows, she produces from emptiness. Stay centered. To be able to receive that which is attracted, I mean, that's a line in the Tao, to receive that which you are experiencing is such a gift, to be able to receive it. Because so many people want to receive that which they're expecting, and they're waiting for that which they're expecting. And they're even waiting to be criticized, because they're expecting to be criticized, because they're under the influence of something that has criticized them in the past. But when you broaden everything and you to a point become impartial, to a point don't care, because whatever it is you receive is going to be taking you to something better, so taking you to something deeper, taking you to something more, rather than just, all of these verses are popping in my head right now. The idea of like the master carpenter, when there's only one executioner, but there's only one, there's only one reward person too. There's only one thing, and that is Tao. That is your experience of getting rewarded and getting punished, or getting this or that, or this is all this collaboration between you and Tao. This is how you expect to see it, and the lessons that you are getting. Now, when you're open to receiving, and you know that this is not just what I'm experiencing as the manifestation, now I'm in a collaboration. Now I'm in conversation with Tao.
Yeah, we're doing this beautiful dance together. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. And it's not like, and I'm not going to judge how life is going to dance. Because life is going to dance all sorts of ways.
So I'm definitely not like at that point anymore in my life where I'm like, so rigid in outcomes and stuff. Now it's just like, oh, cool. What's the next adventure? But this moment is great too. Like I was saying, I feel so peaceful. I'm going home. Cool. But if I stayed here, cool.
Right.
It's all good.
Yeah, far out. Let's see where this takes me. Let's see who's the next person to, come into my circle of people. What's the next sense that I'm going to have? What's the next laugh? What's the next cry? What's the next, what's the next thing I'm going to stub my toe on? Like, what a wonderful experience this all could be. Yes, I could swear and grab my toe, but so many times that happens now. I swear, grab my toe and laugh, at the same time. It's like burr, 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 like, oh, look at what I did, or whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Well, thank you. Wonderful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That was number 5.
Here. Yay. Oh, and I just got one of the vibes too at 11:11. How cool!
oh, yeah, there it is, and the clock continues.
That's right. Well, thank you so much. I'll continue listening.
You. Wonderful. I'm gonna bring up Anne. Anne McCormick, how are you? Sometimes people have to get their mics set up. Sometimes people don't know that they joined me. Sometimes they just wanted to follow or something. So I give them a little bit of time just to kind of situate. And after about a minute or so, I'll take them off. So, Anne, if you didn't mean to join me, I'll be taking you off shortly. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. I want to take this opportunity to thank JK and Melissa for supporting the show. And you can support the show as well if you go to my profile and check out my Buy Me Coffee. I'm always open to receive your support. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and remove Anne. And Shelly has been feeling down, and we're going to go ahead and pick a number for Shelly. Now, Shelly asked for me to pick a number for encouragement, and I don't know that the Tao encourages anything. But I'm going to go ahead and pick a random number for you, and we'll read it. And I know you've been feeling down. So I picked a random number. It was random number 6. So it just moved something uplifting. All right, well, I hope this is uplifting. I mean, if I can think of one that would be specifically uplifting, I will. But the Great Feminine is the one that I picked random for you. The Great Feminine, number 6. And let me talk about it, and we'll see where it takes us, okay? All right, so everything is born from the feminine, even heaven and earth. The feminine that births is a mother. She nourishes and supports without possessing. Despite your awareness of it, you're using it right now. All right. That's it. It's short, sweet. Everything is born from the feminine, even heaven and earth. Okay, so the feminine births heaven and earth. But everything is born from the feminine, even heaven and earth. So you're born from the feminine. Your ideas are born from the feminine. Your actions are inspired and born from the feminine. And that is the same feminine that birthed heaven and earth. That means you are on par with heaven and earth. You aren't less than that. So often we judge ourselves. We look at ourselves and we say, oh, well, I'm not as productive as someone else. I'm not as motivated as someone else, or burr, and hear all of this stuff, But then we can look at our cat who sleeps 16 hours a day and we love and feed and pet and give all this attention to. That cat was born from the feminine. You're born from the feminine. We're all born from the same thing. We could look at, we're born from our parents. Burr. And our parents are these things that I judge. And the town that we were born in is this thing. But if we look further back, it's like, this is the experience. Our parents and the town we were born in and the way that we were born and the way that we were raised, that gives us all of this information about the experience that we're having. This is where we kind of get into that pre-karmic buffet thing, right? That just happens to be the experience we're having. We are on par with heaven. We're just as magical and just as loved and just as important as heaven. The feminine that births is a mother. She nourishes and supports without possessing. So you, yeah, there's nothing to compare to others. Shelly's thinking about starting a podcast, and that's beautiful. Yes, and you're going to birth that. And remember, the idea to birth that isn't necessarily coming from you, Shelly. Right? Yes, it is. It's coming through you, but it's coming from, it's this feminine. It's the same thing that birthed you. It's the same thing that birthed heaven. It's the same thing that birthed earth. And it says at the bottom, despite your awareness of it, you're using it right now. You can sit there and take credit for it. You can go ahead and just be you don't have to have awareness of the feminine in your life. You don't have to have awareness of, the nature of everything in your life. But you're using it. Regardless of your awareness of it, you are using the feminine and you're using the support of the feminine. And so moving forward, you will continue to be supported. But you'll continue to be supported, maybe not in the way that you want to be supported, right? Because let's say you want to be supported, by being famous. Well, that might not happen, but you will be supported in the journey that you're on. You will be supported in doing it until you don't. And you can like that you do it, and you can enjoy that you're doing this, and it could just bring you to a place where you're going to do something else. It's always being birthed. Everything, like you lead one moment into another. Everything is born from the feminine. The feminine, again, isn't about the action. So it's born from the feminine, and then you have to take action around it, right? You then have to do something, right? Because the idea of starting a podcast, the idea of starting something, that's substance. The idea of doing something, right? That's substance. It's like, I'm inspired to do something. What is that? What is it that I'm going to do? And then you will create a box around it. You'll create a structure around it and say, okay, it will be a podcast that I will do once a week, that I will do about this topic, that I will do whatever. It doesn't really matter what it all is. All of that's just structure. Like, the reality is you want to create something, right? And you want to create something about something, maybe whatever, so there's structure around your substance. You have substance that you want to create something. You want to engage your own feminine. You want to you want to give birth. And that's an inspiration that you're having. And that inspiration is born from the feminine as well. And then you want to engage in that within the manifestation. So it needs a structure in order for it to satisfy in the manifestation. It has to have a structure. You could sit here and just meditate on that podcast and it be plenty if you wanted just to have it be substance. But when you want it to exist in manifestation, it has to have both masculine and feminine. So here it is being birthed from the feminine, that birthed from you, right? Birthed from Tao into you. You receive it. You birth it through adding structure to it. So now it's in the world. So you add structure and you say it's all of these things. Right? It is not everything. It is all of these things specifically. It is a podcast about, the Popeye cartoon between 1972 and 1976, right? Like, I don't know what it's going to be, but that's it, right? Like, so you create a structure under which you will create this. Now it can be introduced to the world because it's something that we can understand. Tao can't be understood. That's why the Tao Te Ching starts with that first line, which is words are particular. They can't express Tao. Even though I'm using words to try and express Tao. So you have an idea. That idea is so, in your heart, it's so big, it's so overwhelming. And you don't know how to do anything about it. And so you have to structure it. You have to not let it just be substance. You have to put a box around it so that you can understand it. So the feminine is so big. The feminine is huge. The feminine is bigger than we can grasp. The feminine birthed heaven and earth, and heaven and earth are bigger than we can understand. The universe is bigger than we can understand, and the feminine birthed that as well. The feminine, that births as a mother, she nourishes and supports without possessing. And so that's your job, right? Once you build this, you nourish and support. Like that's what I do here on Tao of the Day. I nourish and I support the structure and the substance of the program Tao of the Day. I nourish and support. And it grows and it will, it will grow and it will die and it will transform. It will do all of these things. So despite your awareness of it, so hopefully now you have awareness of it, and hopefully I have awareness of the feminine in my life, like inspiring me and growing and all of this. But if you don't, you're using it right now anyway. So it's great for us to be aware of it, but even if we don't, we're using that support from the feminine anyway. And it's not possessing us, right? It nourishes and supports without possessing. We don't have to do anything for it. We don't have to do anything for the feminine. The feminine is just here supporting us regardless. We don't have to, there's no exchange. So you can just take this inspiration and do whatever you want with it. You can throw it out. You don't have to do anything about it. Or you can put it in a box that's like, okay, I'm going to write a series of short stories, or I'm going to do a podcast, or I am going to utilize this idea and start a plumbing business or whatever, right? Like, it doesn't matter the box that you put it in. And Tao isn't going to tell you how to manifest this thing. You're just going to do it. And it's going to unfold. Now, maybe it's going to cause you grief. Maybe it's going to cause you pain. Maybe it's going to cause you. And if you focus on those things, well, then nothing will get done. But if you just say, far out. Like, let's see, like, I have to sacrifice this thing for that thing. All right. Well, I'm going to move in the direction that I need to move. So it seems like that's been helpful. And I will send you the text to that as well. And just, I'll send you the text to that. You're number 6. That's good. Yeah. Amy didn't come up. All right. If anybody else wants to pick a number, definitely come up. I wanted to get you guys to remember, if you benefit from the work that I do here, I really appreciate you being here. really appreciate all of you that have supported me in the past, JK, Melissa, and all of my guests who support me through just being on and helping me work. Melissa's coming up now. Thank you so much. Thanks for your support. How are you doing, Melissa?
I am doing well. My friend is
That's good.
her voice.
Oh, yeah.
Remember yesterday how I was just like, oh, we'll see what happens. Well, it's interesting because, sometimes the universe just unfolds. And one of the teachers came up to me yesterday who was also told that she wasn't going to have a position next year. And she's like, did you see on the, there's like a sheet that they put out that has like all the listings in Baltimore County teachers that are transferring. She's like, did you see they have all these resource positions now? And I was like, no, I didn't see it. I was like, will you send it to me? So I'm so bad. So she sent it to me, and there happened to be a school in there that I had like written down at the top of my list because, I make lists. That's just what I do. Because it's like really close to my house. So,
Right.
I was looking at that, and then there was another one. So I had written down, made another list. Okay, I'm going to send off my resume to these two schools. So I did that last night, and within an hour, I got a reply back from the principal of the school that is closest to my house. And I was like, yes, that's a sign. That's a sign. And, then you were talking about not having a preference. I'm like, but I want to have a preference. So, we'll see. I'm trying to I did. I was like, oh, this is, but then I was like, well, you know what? Maybe, I've just got to trust in God that, he's going to direct me because even though this is what I want, it may not be his will. So I prayed and I was like, God, I would really like this, but if this is not your will, then lead me to the place that you have for me. So, I'm trying not to have this preference, John, but I'm like, oh my God, it's like 15 minutes from my house. And I'm like, really struggling with not having a preference. But the principal did ask me if I was going to be at the job fair tomorrow and said she would love to chat with me. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. So preferences, don't let preference get in your way is really what we mean when we talk about not having a preference. Because you are in the manifestation. You're in a body. You are having this experience. So yes, you can have a preference, but it's really nice to eat cake because cake is full of sugar and fat.
They were talking about cake on my lesson this morning. Yes, I know.
So you can't again. You like cake, but you don't like that you're eating, right? You may not like in the moment that you're eating the cake with your bare hands. You know what I mean? So yes, you have a preference, but it's like when you can manage the intensity, when you can manage the conversation between you and the preference. Because there may have been a time when I would not have changed my diet to the extreme diet that I currently have because of my diagnosis of MS. However, once I got my diagnosis of MS, I kind of changed my diet a little bit until 3 months later when I had a severe flare-up and was bedridden. Once I was bedridden, I had a preference to not be bedridden. But I'm also open to the fact that that's probably going to be a case one day. And so this idea of okay, in order for me to stave off my being bedridden. I gotta have this diet, and so that that is still driven by a preference, but it also that preference has to be flexible. Like when I was talking about the fact that I have to seriously now consider taking meds, it brought in the fact that actually I had such a preference to not taking meds. I defined myself as that, and I didn't even know because it was so subtle under the surface. And then once I was faced with the fact that, okay, now you got to seriously look at it, I realized what was missing. And you get guided to those things. So yes, when we talk about not having a preference, but you didn't, you wanted to go to this school. You didn't even see that they had an opening or whatever. And then all of a sudden someone presents it to you, you apply for it, and within minutes, you get a call. That's because you didn't have a preference. And now you're starting to hone that preference. So that could set you up for being hurt. But you keep reminding yourself, I'm on this journey. And this journey is actually supporting me in a really great way. So let's see where it's going to take me. Then you can release more than cement. You have a number today.
I do not. Today must be random number day, so
it's random number day.
It is random number day.
Number 18. Burr, out of touch with Tao.
Uh-oh.
No.
I don't like this number.
No. You'll like it. You'll like it. Let's go. Let's look at it together. When out of touch with Tao, etiquette is observed. This might be leaning towards let's see. When etiquette cannot be abided, we find excuses to make it proper. When excuses gut the family, chaos favors the hierarchy. When all the neighbors are in chaos, blind loyalty is demanded. This starts with etiquette. And I think that, going to the job fair, there's going to be a lot of etiquette. But I think what this reminds us is that you are going to benefit by being yourself rather than being who you think they want you to be.
Yeah.
And that's a huge reminder because you may be going into this going, I can't screw up. But then you need to be going into it thinking, I can't screw up. There's nothing you can screw up. Versus the idea of that same sentence from the position of a demand on yourself. A demand to stick to the etiquette. To say what you think they want to hear. You have more to offer than etiquette does. And when they see that, and they are touched by that, then everything is going to fall into place. Doesn't mean that you're going to end up where you want to. Doesn't mean you're going to end up having less of a commute. Because what if you had a 15-minute commute, but everybody constantly told you how to do what you do without giving you any freedom? Is that where you would want to be?
No.
Right. So your commute, but you don't know. But and if you step into this and you talk to that principal and you are you, she will see you, which means she will see those things that she loves because she's going to be having her experience.
Well, don't worry. I'm definitely going to be me because I don't know who else to be.
Good.
And I'm learning that, Melissa is awesome. And you know what? If they don't appreciate that, that's on them.
That's right.
Because Yeah, I mean, I have a lot to bring to that school, and hopefully they see that. But if that's not what God or the universe has in store for me, then it won't happen. I mean, I would like for it to, because, 15-minute commute sounds pretty daggone awesome. I've never had a
How long's
school
your
that's
commute now?
home. Oh, my goodness, like about 35, 40 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would, oh man. That gives you 15, 20 more minutes on either side
Nice.
to even if that just means taking 15 minutes of quiet, 15 minutes of breathing, 15 extra minutes of just like preparing and just like preparing your mind, preparing your body, giving yourself a little attention.
Yeah, absolutely. And, not only that, I was thinking, it's actually a place that I like to go to. It's not far from my house, and there are little shops around there. So, I mean, it would be more like my community, whereas, where I'm at now, I mean, I love the kids and I do what I can, but like, it's, it wouldn't be a big deal staying late because it's not far from home, and it really does
Right.
feel like it's closer to my community. You know what I'm saying? To where I'm at now is so far away from home. It doesn't really feel like, especially with the way things are now.
Right. And I also want to point out, like, look at the gap, look at the chasm between when you were informed that your contract wasn't going to be continuing and today. Like the potential and the optimism and the and all of that. And all of that is just thought. Nothing's actually changed. You are still in the same position that you were. You had a job and they told you about something and you worried and then stressed, and then all of this other stuff happened with your mom and your family and And then, you were stressing about the resume, and then the resume is going out. Now somebody that you didn't even have to do the work, someone came up to you and said, "Hey, did you see?" And then boom, here you are, 15. You didn't have to do anything. All of that extra worrying, all of that extra stuff, just all for naught. And here you are on cloud nine, feeling so good, thinking that there's a possibility that you're going to be 15 minutes from your house. I just want to say, nothing's changed. You're still in the same position that you were in. You're still like, there's all of that. And all of that up and down is just thought. It's just story.
You know how I love a good story, Martin John.
I do. And this story is going to be good in the end. You're going to always be able to be like, oh, and then this, and then this, and then I got everything that I wanted. And it's great. And I love it, for you, but, there's that one verse, Tao doesn't grow old or tired because it has no preference for itself. And this is just a lot of energy, and it can be tiresome. And especially when you got your mom at home and you got other things. It's like, I'm not saying to say, don't enjoy the story, don't enjoy the journey, don't enjoy it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, hey, let's look at that and let's see how much is it serving me? But I'm super excited for you to be in this position.
Well, if it's meant to be, then it will happen, right, my friend?
That's right. And it seems like that's the direction that things are going. And I'm excited for you to put your name in the hat and get get credit and move. And what is the position?
It's a resource teacher, so basically that means I would be not a classroom teacher, but hopefully it would be in the field of reading, because that's what I was before they made me in the academic.
Oh, you dropped off. Please come back and we'll finish that up, and then I'll get to Chris in one moment. Chris, if you can just hang out for just a moment, I'll get to you shortly. Oh, yeah, go on.
Yeah, so it's similar to what I'm doing now, where I work with small groups of students and basically help to achieve whatever goals the school has for, let's say struggling readers, or, that's what I'm envisioning. I'm not sure. I mean, there are resource teachers that do math, and there are resource teachers, but I'm hoping with all of my expertise and love of reading that's what they need, a resource teacher for that. And I did mention that in the email that I sent to the principal, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Maybe it's going to be reading, and who knows what else. Maybe it's going to, like, my guess is it's going to be aligned a lot, even better than just reading. I'm guessing that you're going to be challenged as well as supported.
Well, being a teacher is always a challenge, Martin John, but
I'm sure.
I do appreciate the fact that I am being supported now, and that I will continue to be supported. And I just kind of like what you were saying, the fact that the other teacher came up to me yesterday and she was like, "Did you see this?" And then I was like, "Oh, Arbutus, that's right down the road. Yes, yeah. That's what I want." So we'll see.
Yeah, you didn't have to. You don't. If it's for you, it's just for you. There's no one else can take it. Nothing can be taken from you. This is your experience. This is your life.
Right. And I'm thinking the fact that the principal got back to me within an hour, and She said she'd love to chat. And I'm like, oh, I'm liking all of these signs. These all seem good, but I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket, so to speak, because I don't know what the plan is. So I'm just trying to make the next right step. But I'm trying not to have a preference, but I do.
Good. It's good. And you may even like that you have a preference right now, because that would be so nice. And that's good. Just recognize that. Just recognize how you're feeling about it. And recognize that, when you talk to the principal, just be you. Remind yourself, take that deep breath before you go and introduce yourself, and just say, okay, Melissa's the bomb. Melissa's got this. And I don't have to be anything special. I don't have to have a thought in my head about making it easy for them. Their lives are easy just like mine, and we're going to come together, and it's going to be good.
All right, my friend. Well, I am here at my other school, and I'm going to go start my day. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for being there. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, and thank you for your support. I love you, dear.
I love you too, dear.
Bye-bye. Okay, we're going to bring Chris up, and we're going to pick another Dow. Hey, Chris, how are you today?
Can you hear me?
I do. I can hear you. I gotcha.
This is the first time I've done this, so I don't know why it made me so nervous. But anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just take a breath. Is it Preble?
Yes.
Okay. Where are you at in the world?
I am right now in Durham, North Carolina, about to pull into the driveway for work.
Okay. What do you do?
I am a test engineer.
A test engineer? What is that? I don't know.
So I work for a company that certifies products. So basically I get to try to break stuff. It's pretty.
Oh my God, that's so fun. Do you like your job?
I love my job.
What is the last thing you broke?
I broke a computer system.
Oh, nice. Good for you.
Yeah, I get to cook it in an oven. I get to drop it on a concrete floor. It's totally fun.
Oh, wow. Do you have to wear like a hard hat and like goggles and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
And do you wear like a white lab suit? Like
I do
apron?
not. I'm sorry to disappoint, but I don't wear the coat. No.
Oh. Is it an option? Do they have them there just in case you want to?
Yes, yes, they do.
That's. Can I get a job? I want to break stuff for a living. That's so fun. Oh man, that's great. So, what's going on otherwise in your life these days?
So, about a year ago, I freed myself from a 30-year situation that was emotionally abusive.
Uh-huh.
And I found this dream job, and
congrats. Like, oh man, dream job. Absolutely.
I feel happy for the first time in a lot of years.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. That's so good. And I love that, so many people, when they get emotionally sort of distraught, they can use an outlet of breaking things, and you're getting paid for it. I'm like, what a treat that is.
Yes, and so in about 15 minutes, I have my 1-year review. So I'm hoping for a raise, and
just pay me more for breaking more things. So do you get bonuses on how many things you break, or like how does that work?
No, generally I don't like it for our customers, like when the stuff breaks. Like I want their product to be successful. They want,
yeah. Right.
But I have to follow the rules, so
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like, I mean, and that's the same. That goes the same for us. I always like to, the relationship that you had. I mean, it was for 30 years. So you told a story that it was strong. You told a story that it was healthy. You told a story that this was good for you in one way or another. And you had to, I like to, like the stress test, right? That's what you do. You stress test things. It's like let's put it to the fire in terms of what it says it's supposed to be. And, I bought a house a couple of years ago and the pipes froze. And I'm like, well, the pipes shouldn't freeze. Like, I know I'm in Chicago, but if it's this temperature, the pipes should not freeze. And I stress tested it and the pipes froze and broke. And I shut the water down because I can do that. And I cut open the floor because it's my house. I can do that. And then I found the problem. It's not the pipes. The pipes weren't the problem. The problem was there was a hole in the house. Oh, okay. Well, now I can fix that and I can grow. We want to know what's wrong. We do. If we're honest about, I want to make a good product or I want to have a good relationship, I don't want to hide things under the rug. I don't want to hide things from myself. I want things to be, to withstand the stresses that they're going to be exposed to. So you've listened to this before. I know this is the first time we've talked, I believe. Have you used this app and talked to other folks? So do you know how this works? I
haven't. This is the first time I've pressed the button.
That's all right. And I know you're going to be going to work. And have you listened to this program before?
Yeah, many times. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Do you want to pick a number between 1 and 81?
I do. I feel like all the signs and license plates on the way to work were telling me 59 today.
59. Serving others. So I want to start by just kind of pointing out that that's what your job is.
Yeah.
Is serving others. Now, there's also probably something in your relationship that you ended a year ago in which maybe you thought your job was to serve, to be a servant in that relationship.
That is absolutely true. Always others before myself.
So I'm going to read this, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit, because I know you got to get to work and get your review, and I hope you do get a raise. So it says here, while serving others, be as reserved as you can be. Be like Tao. Nurture all things without influencing them. This is possible through moderation. Free yourself from the constraints of your own ideas. Respect all things as they are and remove their limits. Embrace this virtue and your limits are removed as well. Find within yourself both solid ground and yielding sky. Be at one with Tao and the landscape creates itself. Limitless, you achieve immortality. Now, to hear these for the first time is really difficult. Okay, so was there any word or phrase that stood out to you and you still remember or just like resonated differently?
I think the part where to serve without influencing.
Yeah.
I do have 5 children, and they are all young adults now.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, they're amazing people.
Yeah, they are.
But it's been difficult to, like you were talking earlier, to something to the effect of parents not having preconceived notions about how their children will be.
Yeah.
And that was a hard realization for me, especially with my second oldest son, to like let him decide who he's going to be. Because it was like what he was desiring to become was so far off what I thought he would become, you know? So and he's amazing.
Yeah.
But
second-borns usually are. I'm a second-born.
As am I. You know, so it just, you know, the oldest child, as they sometimes do, they follow the rules and demand all the rules be followed by everyone. And then my second son, like, he's like, Mom, I don't want to finish college. I want to be an auto mechanic, which is amazing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm like, okay, you know, it took me a minute, and to convince Dad that was going to be okay too. But we got through it, even with everything else going on. And guess what? He's amazing at it.
I bet. Because he's doing what he wants.
Yeah.
Your firstborn is probably amazing at what they're doing, but that might not be who they are, because they may be under the influence of you and their dad. Because the secondborn is more likely to push against that, because the secondborn was never going to be the firstborn, you know, and so they stop competing. And when they stop competing, they can be who they are. You know, one of the interesting things about this verse is the line, respect all things. So respect your secondborn as he is and remove his limits. Respect all things as they are and remove their limits. Embrace this virtue and your limits are removed as well. Why? Because now you are inspired by him.
Yes.
Your limits get to be removed.
Yes.
And as your limits get removed, your life becomes more full of love, simply because you took your hands off the wheel of his life.
Yes. And so now we have triplets. The triplets are juniors in high school. And it's so much easier to, now that we've been through this with the 19-year-old, to let them choose what they want to do.
Yeah. And each one of them may choose differently.
And they are. And it's amazing. And I'm just so glad that we learned the lesson.
Right. That's so beautiful. And as is your life, you know, like these are reflections of you, right? Because you and your children are a reflection of you. And when you can love them as that reflection, when you can love them as that, like when you can set them free, then that sets you free.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's 59, serving others. And I'm so glad that you came up and we got to chat. I will definitely send you the text from this so you can read it over a little, later. And what's on the docket for today? What are you going to try and break?
Well, I can't really tell you what it is. But
Yeah, I figured it was there was going to be a point when I asked something that was a little that wasn't going to be able to be answered.
But they're all kind of like loosely medical related objects,
Yeah.
and so I get to test them on a vibration table to see if like the UPS guy is going to break them on the way.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's so awesome. Like, and you even have story about like, so we want to make sure that the UPS guy, when he's hitting the potholes and stuff, doesn't break this prosthetic leg.
right. But like, so we call those like transportation tests, just to make sure that, you know, like some of this stuff gets, you know, shipped across the sea in a container and,
right. Yeah.
You know, so like if the container falls on the blacktop or whatever, like,
right, yeah,
is the packaging sufficient that it ends up in your home undamaged? So
right. Well, that's fun. It's fun. Like and every test, like because you mentioned like a transportation test. So every test has a story behind it. Like this test is designed to replicate this. You know, and so you can be like, all right, so it gets thrown in the box truck, boom, and then and then the box truck goes down the street and it hits a lot of potholes and a gravel road and you know, all of these things.
Yeah, the best test is
so
when
fun.
when I simulate an earthquake and
wow,
I have to shake it really hard. I have like a huge table that simulates that, and like some of the stuff that I test is as big as a phone booth. So when that stuff lets loose, it's loud and amazing.
God, I'm telling you, like if you ever have an opening, you just let me know.
Come on down.
I would like, I don't know. Like I think I don't want to threaten your position though. So you keep enjoying breaking things and making our world safe.
That's our motto. All right.
Okay, good.
Thank you. I better get ready for my review.
Yeah, you go shake some shit. All right.
Like a Polaroid picture.
All right, Chris. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And I'll send you that number 59.
Perfect.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to remove you, Chris, because I know that was the first time you've been up, so you might not know how to get yourself off. But usually at the bottom of the screen, it says, you know, exit or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys so much for joining me. What a fun day. Cecilia joined me. We read number 5. Shelly asked for a number, and we read number 6. Melissa came up for 18, and Chris, first time. Thank you so much for 59. If you guys benefit from the work that I do here, I really would appreciate any support you can give me to continue doing this work. You can support me directly through Buy Me a Coffee. It's a simple way to help keep this going. Every contribution, big or small, makes a difference. So just visit the my profile, and you can find a link to Buy Me a Coffee to show your support. And it helps me continuing sharing the Tao Te Ching every morning so that I can be here and support you, and you can support me. Thank you so much. This is wonderful. And I had a wonderful time today, and I'll be releasing this on my Tao of the Day podcast, which is on Spotify, and it gets uploaded to YouTube and other things like that. So if you're looking for any old content, you can find it there, or you can look here on Noom Vibe, which all of my recordings are on here too. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Martin John, and until next time, keep recovering yourself.